Welcome to a video about grenades that will be released in the. No, it is, isn't it?
It's
It
a
is about
podcast.
grenades. It's a podcast
The
about
Barrel
grenades.
Vision podcast,
A
ladies
Barrel
and gentlemen.
Vision podcast, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
And
We've decided
as-
to let Tom do the intro because
I think it went quite well, really.
we're stupid. because...
I think there's some room for improvement, but
you'll never be invited again. You ruined it. You've ruined our show. But yeah, as our guest very kindly spoiled, and the probably title and thumbnail and probably description and all of that probably also alluded to, Harry has come up with a metric fuck ton of grenade ideas that he wants us to rifle through and try and, elaborate
No, grenade
upon.
through. They're not rifles, they're grenades. I'm not going to rifle through them. That would probably make them explode.
Then they're not very stable grenades. Normally you have to like a pin.
No,
or
they're
something,
not.
Right.
No.
And the HE,
Anyway.
you throw it and you accidentally leave the pin in, and that's the resulting thing. They don't actually explode. You just hit things
why
with
they-
the ball.
Are you sure? Are you sure they don't explode? I think they do explode, they're just not very good.
No, I don't think they explode. That's not an explosion.
You would think they don't explode from how not good they are.
Well, it's interesting considering,
how not good they are. You
the-
mean bad?
Like the most pathetic explosion is used on a character that has like the best explosion always available. Yeah. It's like,
HEs
why bother?
are so stupid.
Yeah, which is I'm just going to get this out of the way because it's relevant. If you've seen the video, and I would imagine statistically you probably have, of
The
my
season 3
grenades-
roadmap.
No,
Wait, what?
of my grenade video
Oh.
about Drillers grenades, which is done pretty well. Then you'll know that new grenades is going to shake up that video, which is nice. I make a video, it's going to immediately be dated in the next couple months. It's cool and all.
That's
They
pretty
did
good.
It,
Yeah, it's nice.
they actually did it because of you. That's why they're adding new grenades.
Well, that is also what I'm thinking, right? If
No,
my
quickly,
video,
we need to ruin
if-
Tyler's plans.
Yeah, it needs to ruin my plan. But like, if whatever I said in that video is ever gonna occur, it is now, right? It is this season. If they are gonna buff the HE and neurotoxin, they're gonna do it now. If they're gonna change the HE neurotoxin, they're gonna do it now. If they're gonna remove HEs and add the satchel charges instead, which Tom is against, but we'll get to that some other time.
I like
they're gonna do
satchel
it now.
charges.
Yeah.
I like axes.
I hold to believe that without actually having to change what those things are, you could make HEs so much better by just having them be cookable. And that would just be so much fun. But
Yeah.
I don't want anyone. Shut up.
But yeah.
So I mentioned the.
The other issue is you can't edit things. You can't edit. You can only edit the satchel. You can edit the satchels. You can't edit grenades.
What are you saying? Saying you want grenade upgrades?
A lot of people
Yes.
do. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it doesn't make sense, but I also hold to the belief that grenade overclocks would work better. Just overclocks. You don't need upgrades.
Thing is, if there were
And
upgrades,
this brings us to a discussion that we can have on this podcast recently, just the state of grenades
I think
and what they are, because that's the whole point, really.
if grenades got upgrades, it would.
Shouldn't we get to the point first, though?
Well, we kind of just go with the flow, and I think if the grenades actually got upgrades, it would basically just be like the flares upgrades. Is there flares? I don't know upgrades. Do they? Do they?
They did.
They did. Or the pickaxe ones, where it's basically just a couple upgrades.
Yeah, the upgrades would be boring, which is why I think overclocks would suit them better, because there's not going to be many anyway. It's going to be like one of each category. And it'll be like 4 upgrades or 3 overclocks. So I think I'd rather take the overclocks. They're probably going to be more interesting.
Well, I think I mean, obviously overclocks will basically do the same job, but I don't see why they don't just like diversify it. Like, if you were to pick axes, you then get 3 different versions of the axes you can then pick from. Like I don't know, like fiery axes that when hitting an ice one, it will deal like fire, so temperature shock, like axes, or like I don't know, you increase the damage, but it removes the you can like kill things on low health without consuming the axes element.
That's what I was going to say. But you
Stuff
only
like
have
this.
like one axe.
Like these are obviously overclocks, but maybe they don't inherently have to be in the form of overclocks. Maybe they can be their own
Well,
unique.
Hold
Like,
on. Can I mention the fact that
Thing.
technically, the impact axes give you like an infinitely usable damage source. because of the
impact
AoE that it
axes
deals in front of it.
are-
That doesn't consume the axe
Broken.
itself, but it still deals AoE.
We're aware of this.
They are. They like, as much as I don't want them to be nerfed, it would be more than
I should have
reasonable.
one.
It would be more than reasonable to nerf them. They have an ungodly amount of just benefits compared to the no negatives. I can't think of
you
a
know
way
what?
that it's worse than anything else in the entire game, other than like obviously area of effect, right? But it's still, considering it's a kinetic like small bit of damage, it still has area of effect. Which
Area
is
of
ridiculous.
effect is one thing that Driller is not lacking as a character.
That
so.
too. Like he doesn't
know what I
need
think?
one.
We said we don't want to be nerfed. I think they could reasonably reduce the ammo.
I
By
honestly,
two.
especially considering you can save them, 6 axes makes more than enough sense. Like, but
Yeah.
I honestly, I still don't think it would change much. People would
No.
still use axes an ungodly amount. They would have to nerf axes so badly that
I think
they
we
would
spoke about it a
become
little bit though
unusable.
already. I think we were saying that like I don't know if we did it on a podcast though, because we just talk about this shit anyway.
Our podcast, he says.
Yes, yes. Our
I mean,
podcast.
Yeah, it's,
I'm a valuable member. I'm not really, but I am.
it's your
I'm
third, though,
not.
right? So you know.
Yeah. So really,
You can take some partial.
Can I say my
ownership
point
of the
now, actually?
episode. No.
Apparently not. Harry is really hooked up on the fact that you took credit for anything.
really bothered.
Yeah.
It's not called barrel rat vision.
Should be though.
Well, it's not like
I have an
Mind
idea,
Thing's
by the way.
vision either.
I have an
Rat
idea.
vision.
Like this, Tom. Your point can take a backseat. All I'm saying is it's going to be called double barrel.
That's pretty good.
I know.
That is actually really good. I think you should just make that the new channel and then this the second channel.
If we ever did make a second channel, which I don't see why we would, but if we ever did,
It would just be like gameplay dump. I don't know.
VODs. Not that we stream much, and not that we care if they goes on the main channel, but
But anyway, my point was
Just
is that to
re-upload
bring up the other
everything.
grenades more than they need
Yeah.
to nerf the axes.
Obviously.
yeah, which was my point in the video. I imagine
Because not only are the
you've
axes
seen,
super
everyone's seen.
strong, but its competition is fucking crap.
But now it really throws into a cog. Like, we assume minimum of 2 grenades, right? I think possibly
Per
3.
class, yeah.
I think that would
I think 2 is a safe bet. I think 1. The problem with 1, right? It doesn't really matter how much other content they add. The addition of only 1 grenade per class is still going to feel lackluster. Right?
Yeah.
Which is why I imagine it's going to be at least 2.
But considering
It doesn't matter how
a
much
single
content
grenade,
is added. Like, how much gameplay content is added doesn't matter. If you add more grenades and it's only 1 per class, that's going to be like, oh, that's not very...
Well, think about
good,
it.
is it?
1 gun implies a whole new gun, which most of the time currently adds an entire new system of gameplay. Not only that, but all the upgrades and the overclocks it then adds, right? 1 grenade does not equal 1 weapon, right? 2 grenades, I still wouldn't consider it. 3 grenades, I think that is about equal, right? And obviously
Yeah.
they don't
Well,
have to
this is
equal the amount,
important.
but...
This sort of leads into, or just, I guess, takes us forward a little bit to what grenades are really, because no build hinges on grenades. None. That's what I've noticed. Grenades are never the foundation for a build. The closest it comes is Scout, I'd say, and Scout probably has the most balanced selection, which is pretty odd when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't occur to most people, I think, but after playing a lot more and sort of figuring out what's the best and what's not, well, Scout and Engineer have the most balanced selection, in my
Scout
opinion.
is balanced, right? His primaries and secondaries are basically the same kind of strength, I would say, most of the time. Like, you know, they can be at least. You know, they hold about like medium kill ability and stuff like that. And then his grenades are about all the same. Like, Scout is just a very balanced character, while also being quite mad.
Yeah. And Engineers, grenades, I think, are fairly balanced, but it sort of goes down a little bit. It's like Scout, then Engineer, then Gunner, then
Well,
Driller. Because Gunners, like,
Gunners?
they're all good, but the incendiary grenades just feels like way stronger
but I
than the
think
others.
because we have the statistics for this also in the video that people do not agree at all. Right? People don't think
What, with-
Scout's
with me?
balanced. No, not at all. People have an overwhelming cryo grenade choice. Cryo grenades are absolutely dominating.
Now, what I would like to say about that is, the first point is they're wrong. The second point is that was before pheromones got buffed.
True. I wouldn't
It's a
mind
slightly
doing another
different
thing,
story.
but I haven't. I don't
It's
know.
just because cryo grenades are probably. Because let's be honest, most people are stupid, and cryo grenades are easiest. You
They
chuck
are.
a cryo grenade down, it's gonna be good.
Job
but
done.
IFGs, for example, are really, really good, but it takes like a lot of skill to be able to use them.
Not a lot.
That's why I
Just-
don't use them,
just
because I don't have any skill.
All you have to do is just throw them down
It
like,
takes
in front
a
of
very
a swarm.
small amount of brain power.
Yeah, throw it down in
Yeah,
front of
which
the
is what
swarm
most people
and then
don't
just
have,
shoot.
and you need to also make a build around it.
Yeah, which is why I do think the pheromones is going to rival the cryo, if only because the pheromones is an instant feedback and it instantly kind of disables a horde. It's just not as strong as a disable as cryo. Well,
I'm just sitting here stroking
I
my chin
I
because I
like
think
the
IFGs
I
are
like
the
the
best.
cryo for breeders and spitballs and brood nexuses,
and
because
anything
it
that
makes I
flies.
can kill them
Well,
instantly.
not everything
Yeah,
that flies, but like Mactera, instant grenade Mactera horde drops dead.
You are
Yeah.
right. Not anything that flies because
Robots, yes,
those
I know.
fellas.
But does it actually kill shredders?
Cryo grenade? No.
no, I've tried that.
Are you sure you know, Tom? Are you sure you know?
Yes, because I've tried it.
I
Didn't
believe
work.
you.
Does not
but
have
are you
much
sure?
faith in you. You clearly
No.
don't believe him. But
I don't believe him. But okay, before we get on to the actual ideas,
well, that's yeah.
I blanked.
I think I've mentioned what I said before. Basically, they're going to add 2 to 3 more grenades, which is going to, in some way, shape, or form, either bury the other 2 even further if these 2 or 3 new grenades match the axes, or they're going to add 2 or 3 more grenades just to have them trumped by axes still, right? Like,
oh yeah, on Driller. No. No, I mean obviously the honeymoon
Initially,
phase is a very
yeah.
real thing.
yeah.
But
Initially,
I'm saying regardless of that, the novelty, like it doesn't. The honeymoon phase basically is going to be artificially greater. It's going to be like a year-long honeymoon phase, basically, where
not
even
if
after a
we've got,
very
like,
long amount of
HE's
time.
Part 2. Like the thing is, when you
No, but we won't though.
yeah, but think about
It
it,
doesn't
right?
matter what they are. People will latch onto them more than neurotoxin and the HEs. They're going to be popular.
Yeah, I
Driller's
suppose,
new
but
grenades
when you-
will be popular.
When you unlocked the HEs and the neurotoxin, did you play them for a year? Did you play them for like more than a couple games before switching back to the axes?
No, but we've had the same selection for like 3 years.
Yeah,
That's the point.
but when you
This will shake
initially
things up more
unlock
than
them,
people realise.
yeah, but it's an artificial thing, right? Yeah, I know you mentioned it, but like it is, and if they are as bad as HEs, it may obviously be higher than HEs, but they're not going to compare. Then people will still probably use the axes more if then they do not compare to the axes. Like, they're just so strong. Like, you know, because the thing is, I think neurotoxin not that bad of a grenade.
They're not bad.
They're not bad
at all.
But it's just, people still not use them like ever because of the axes, right? So if these new grenades, they'll have a honeymoon, so they're going to be picked more than HE neurotoxins. But like when the dust settles and we're like a month or 2 into the season, people are just going to be axing all the time again, unless something else changes it. Like these new grenades are really strong, or they buff the other 2. Like it's something's going to occur, especially with that. And I don't know. That's why I just mentioned it, because my video is going to be thrown out. Not thrown out, I'm going to leave it up, but it's going to be less relevant by the time that comes out.
Well, we could almost I think we should make a follow-up at some point.
I'd very much
Based on new... I mean, that's actually a long way off.
Once the
when you
dust
think about
has
it,
settled, probably approaching the probably next season after next, like, the season 4 approaching, so people are kind of calmed down on the grenades, and they're looking forward to future stuff. I'll probably...
Season 4, new flare types.
Well, I mean...
What?
Well, we shouldn't get into it now, but it does bear, I think mobility and utility, they're probably up there. There's not much else they can add more of.
The thing is, they're not up there. They are... Oh, actually, hold on. Sorry. When you look at things quite objectively, actually, grenades and support tools and traversal tools are all like in actually relatively the same boat, or at least they were. In that they sort of were the same way for a while, and there's some things we even shared, like the satchels were shared between Driller and Gunner, and everyone had frag grenades except Scout, who had an IFG. But I think that still all changed around roughly the same time. So, actually, no, I think the new grenades came quite a bit later than diversifying the tools. But still, it's not out of the question. I mean, shield generators technically aren't what Gunner started with, which is really the only thing. That was actually the only new tool they added, which was weird that Driller and Gunner shared those at all at any point.
Which I think is something to bear in
they still
mind.
did it.
Obviously, they don't intend of adding any new more. You know, they've never even so much as suggested it as such. But like, there's not much else. You know, there's
all I'm going to say,
perks.
Hold on. What I will say, because I've thrown around the idea of what everyone sort of thought about traversal and support tool overclocks, and it's sort of an idea that Ghost Ship have shot down with good reason. I think the reason's actually smart, but what it opens up is new traversal and support tools. Would work because they'd be something else.
I think it's
and
something
people understand them as they are, instead of like having to guess what the thing that was already there does now with the overclocks. Add new tools.
I think it's something worth mentioning because they've shut it down, right? But that means they still heard it, right? They know that people want some variables,
variety.
Yeah, with the terrain, you know, or the movement utility, whatever. They you know, people want a bit more spice there because they've just been left dry for God knows how long, right? And they've turned down the overclock, maybe because they would rather have these other ones. And, you know, because, as we've said, new utility and traversal is a new class. It is a new character.
Yeah.
Like, while we're staying within the parameters of the four
grenades.
Yeah.
Doesn't adding new grenades almost feel like a step in that direction?
If
could
there's
be a
three
step in
more,
that direction.
that is a new layer.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily a step in that direction, but it would be shown to have been a step in that direction if they end up adding new traversal and support tools. Just like, oh yeah, they're basically just going in the direction of there's like more than one class in one.
Yeah. So
which
currently, you know, maybe next season we'll get perks, but I think after that there's a chance. You know, like
I think next season we're going to get like 12 new classes.
Yeah, they're just gonna release Deep Rock 2 with like everything times 5. Secretly have like a gigantic crew behind them. They bought out Bethesda and like Microsoft.
Deep Rock Galactic. What's the opposite of Deep Rock Galactic?
Oh,
I know what it is.
Surface level.
No, shallow. No, it's shallow
High.
sand terrestrial.
High.
No, deep and shallow. It's not low and high. You marmoset.
Well, deep is deep. Shallow is just a bit less deep. It's not the opposite.
Yeah, that's true. The opposite would be high. So it'd be high, and what's the opposite to rock?
Sand is just rock, but smaller.
Scissors.
Yes. That is yep, scissors.
Yeah.
High scissors terrestrial.
High
So I came up with 20 grenade ideas.
Yeah.
This was sort of the point of all this, and it will take up most of the time,
foreplay,
I think.
for this topic.
I'm not gonna.
Warmed up to the
Foreplaying the podcast.
yeah.
Make sure you're all getting really fucking wet and ready for our
For our giant load of grenades.
You're gonna explode.
foreplay. And I bet
Anyway.
you all want it now, don't you? After being teased for this long.
Dirty bitches.
We have a show to run.
Yeah, you're sluts for this content, aren't you?
So Harry, what's your first idea?
Okay, so after we found out we're getting new grenades, I decided to just. I guess sketch out is correct. It's literally just like, it's not even outlines, it's literally just names. And they're not even really what the names would actually be, I think. It's like the name of the idea for 20 new grenades. And if anyone knows any like similarities to Borderlands,
That is on purpose.
That is 100% valid, and there's actually more than I thought. So let's just get into it. We'll just go through them one by one, sort of see if we can turn them into an actually good idea. Discuss how likely they are
Or
to be
into an
added.
actual idea, because what do you
Who
have
they
written
would be
down there?
for.
Just like 20 words.
We'll just start. I mean, this includes like a whole range of ideas. I mean, obviously it's 20 of them, but by range I mean like from the most basic shit to really extreme shit. And by basic I mean something like a flashbang.
Something that I would come up with.
But flashbang isn't at the top of the list, so we're not starting with that. We're starting with phase bombs. So phase bomb, that obviously comes from something that the caretaker uses. The caretaker and the nemesis, they can fire phase bombs at you, which sort of like weird that they travel like instantly, but they don't explode quickly, which is a bit odd, but still they function in an interesting way. And I've had the idea of, I kind of like the idea of having phase bombs as a grenade, and this immediately goes to Borderlands because it's like,
It's a longbow.
think of longbow grenades. Yeah. A grenade that instantly teleports to where you're aiming, which would still be useful despite the time it takes to explode.
I think they'd be good for scout.
I mean, if we
Any of these would be good for scout.
I think. Well, I feel like we need to kind of classify what character we would want it on, because that really dictates a lot. You know what I mean? For the feeling
this
of
is
the
one of the
feeling
ones
of the
I
weapon.
wouldn't know.
The,
I don't really know this one.
thing is, right? Even though grenades as a whole, you know, they're quite diverse. Gunner's grenades are very simple and very barbaric. It's sticky grenade, cluster grenade, fire grenade, right? Like, it's simple as it comes, but it gets the job done. As far as like sci-fi, alien, longbow, teleportation, charge up shots, that sounds like an engineer to me. Like an engineer grenade.
Problem is, it kind of suits engineer conceptually, but not really functionally, in my opinion. It probably does actually suit scout the most, considering these grenades would be by far the longest range grenades.
Well,
and
yeah,
scout,
but grenade.
It would benefit him greatly if he can use them from any distance, because it's his job to get far, was sort of to keep his distance.
But I also
they wouldn't feel, they'd feel
And he'd be able to
redundant at
use them
close range.
instantly.
Yeah, but you've also
And
got to bear
scout
in
moves
mind
around
that
a lot.
none of Scout's grenades do damage. And if that's not something they keep up, then why would you use the other grenades? Obviously, they buff you in certain ways. That is true. But, like, people would much rather have a grenade that does damage, I think is fair. Like,
yeah. So you're saying, basically, that they can't add, like, direct damage grenades for Scout?
I'm saying
they'll be picked so common, like,
yeah,
it will just leave everything in the dust.
Like, sure, IFGs,
because everyone's a brainlet.
You know, if IFGs, they boost your
People
damage.
do like
right?
simplicity.
But if you had a grenade that just did that damage itself, then people would pick that over it. You know, and pheromones and cryo grenades might get picked because they do kill Mactera, but like. And cryo is a good status effect, but it's still, I feel like, yeah, if you had a instant teleportation area of effect damage for Scout, I can't see anyone picking anything other than that, to be honest. Like, you know, a swarm appears on the wall, like in the distance, you just instantly kill all of them with a grenade. Or I imagine it probably wouldn't do that much damage, but like, I don't know.
I think it suits engineer in a way, actually, because of the range thing. I guess. I mean, none of the grenades are long range.
Yeah, engineer has very short range.
Well, yeah, apart from... Well, the smart rifle's not... smart rifle's weird. I guess it is long range, but also not necessarily. You can make it quite long range with the lock on, but... And the shard fact is very long range. So, as far as the recent additions, they are very long range. But still,
so
that's why it would make sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very long range.
So, are you thinking this would
engineer.
this would just be a instant teleportation, slow charge up? Maybe is not as normal as the other pulse ones are, but I think you've got to.
It's probably quicker than those.
Visually, it's got to change a bit. Like, it's got to be a different color. It's got to be like blue, or you know, you can't. I don't know.
Sure.
Because you know, if you're getting jumped by a nemesis and your engineer throws a grenade, you're gonna know which one's gonna kill your ass. Like, yeah, but is it gonna be big or small? It's literally just gonna be the same. Like,
I think it would be the same. It would definitely do more damage because those things are not very strong.
Maybe
It would sort of be like
any status effects.
maybe it would slow enemies down though in like the zone where it explodes.
In the zone.
But it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be like an overly strong explosion. It would be like standard explosion,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't do anything else. But it would maybe slow enemies that are in that zone. I don't know if that's fair or not because it's sort of if it didn't have that, it sort of leans into the engineer playstyle of sort of preempting and leading targets like where you want them to go. So maybe it taking time is going to be a valuable part of it, of how you use it. That sort of balances it out, but also fits into like, an engineer main would know how to use that pretty instinctively.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't need a slowdown to really be good. So maybe it can be quite simple in terms of like dealing damage. If it is very simple in terms of dealing damage, I'm thinking probably a bit stronger than most normal explosions, like somewhere in like the 200 range.
How much does like plasma burster do per burst? Like,
Allow me
damage.
to go and have a look.
How long do you think that's gonna take?
60. It's a
Not
total of
very long.
240 in the whole thing.
Okay.
But obviously it's usually more spread out.
Yeah.
So I think 200 is probably fair. Well, at least 4, I guess. At least 4 of them, but maybe 6.
6 might be a bunch. A crowd clearing thing that does 200 damage, which is enough for most grunts, right? Other than maybe guards. But
it wouldn't have that big of a radius. This is actually a fairly... I think the normal radius of phase bomb is definitely smaller than the proximity mines. So I'm thinking it's probably somewhere between plasma burst and proximity mines. It's like
And what are
the
their
default grenade launcher.
Their ammos.
6 and 4.
Now, as much as this feels wrong for some reason, 5 would work. I don't know why,
Sure,
but do they
why not?
actually have odd numbers for the grenades? Like, that doesn't sit right.
No.
Right.
But 5 is like the only one that would work.
Yeah, it's the middle ground, you know.
Yeah, why not, mate? Why not? And why are there only 4 lures?
That is kind of weird. I mean, lures are
I
a bit
think
of a
lures-
get-out-of-jail-free card.
No, they're not, though. They are not a get-out-of-jail-free card. They are not. That's the problem. Well, it's not the problem, but it's just not the case. Because they're slow. They're not going to get everything off you straight away. That's not the point. You're supposed to lead enemies to a certain point preemptively. Engineer doesn't have get-out-of-jail-free cards. And that was reflected, I guess, would be reflected in the phase bomb because it's not... I mean, you probably hurt... I guess you would be able to hurt yourself with it.
Yeah, but...
And it doesn't explode instantly either.
Yeah, but if you're
so it still
teleporting
fits
away
into
from you,
engineer.
then it should be fine. But yeah, no,
Yeah, so
I
it
think...
definitely fits into engineer. This isn't even my favourite idea, and look how much we got on
No,
with it.
but I really, yeah, we're gonna have to speak like this a bit more. But I do think that as far as just obvious ones go, that is a grenade that's already in the game that you could just pass along to engineer and it would fit right in. I think, you know, it would just get the job
Fit
done.
right in. Yeah, baby. Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. Throwing knives.
Sorry, nice.
So, I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video before, but I've talked about
Scout.
throwing knives a fair bit. Yeah, Scout,
Definitely,
obviously.
yeah.
This would be Scout's melee grenade, basically. So this would be melee. I guess I should
Do you mean
this
just
is the one I have the
kinetic,
most...
or the axes, basically, right? Like,
Well,
that kind
yeah,
of
it would be
damage.
melee. You'd be able to get vampire off of these if you
Yeah.
kill something with it. But I have a generally good idea of what these actually are. Not a lot of damage, like because the ammo count, my idea was like 20, but they're not very powerful in terms of direct damage because they're scout grenades. In fact, more so what they would do is like probably inflict like some kind of bleed effect that you can like stack. So like you could use a lot of them, but if you want, you could bring down a big enemy quite easily by using like half of your knives, because they just bleed out very fast. But that's like half of them, so it doesn't destroy the other grenades necessarily because what
And
these
that's
are
good
direct
because Scout needs
damage.
status effects.
These are direct damage, and they have similar utilities to the axes. What did you just say, Tom?
Oh, bleed is, but then be a stats effect, and that's what Scout does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought
Yeah.
you said something about Scout not doing such effects.
I mean, obviously, well, I think there'll be a very good finishing off weapon. Like, you know, because sometimes with Scout's weapons, you kind of get left with a couple stragglers. Like the boomstick, if the pellets didn't hit the right place in the right amount, you'll be left with a guy on like no health.
Yeah, this would be perfect for that.
And
it
same
might
with
help
like
you heal as well.
like maybe a Zukov spray, couple left over, that kind of thing. Crossbow. Do crossbows like kill grunt guards if you've like normal bolt?
No.
So maybe it was.
I think you should. I think you should be able to like pick up the knives by walking over them.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. The impact axe is just a lot weaker.
No, just by
but more-
walking over them though, not actually going to pick them
Well,
up.
I think
They'd be quite small, so it'd be really difficult to do that.
If maybe use the crossbow magnetic retraction. You know, if you look at them, you can summon them back into your hands if
That's
they
just
miss.
the base part of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously, these wouldn't have like 3 different instances of damage like the impact axes, which do like area damage and direct damage and area damage.
If you hit something,
the knives would just be yeah. It's not like the crossbow either, where it like hits the same something that's like in the same space. Another thing, it's just direct. It's like a bullet, basically.
Yeah.
It's more similar to a bullet than the axes are to bullet.
Or you know what you could do, and I am not fond of this, but if you wanted to complicate these a bit more, you could turn them into throwing stars, which I think is firstly cooler. But second of all, that means when they're in a wall, maybe they could deal damage. They could apply the bleed. Like if you were to throw it into the floor and enemies were to walk on it, it could apply the bleed effect. Yeah, which would then immediately make it so you can't pick it back up. But that could be something, and which is technically a little bit of like AoE crowd control with the Scout. You know, you lay that down, get them to run over it, and then there'll be like a line of glyphids that are like bleeding to death. Which, you know, I think it's something. I don't know. It doesn't need it, I don't think. But I think, you know, yeah, just throwing knives or throwing stars. Stars are
That
cool.
just brings some more options to it. It's
Yeah.
nice having grenades, or just like general everything really, when you have tons of options available.
Yeah. That's the main thing with the axes, right? If we want to compare them to the axes, they need to be stupidly versatile, right? Just have features that have no reason to be on this weapon, like, and just
Hold
like
on,
have it there.
I want to complicate it a bit more because I said they have a lot of ammo. But what if you go a bit further, but you throw like multiple of them at the same time? Like you throw like 3 at the
I
same
was
time.
thinking burst could be maybe they do just burst generally, like, you know.
Well, no,
I think
like,
grenades should have
shoot-
one
throw them in 3
upgrade on
different
them.
ways.
Just one row of upgrades, and they could have like 2 or 3, and they just change it slightly. It just
Well,
so
that
like-
sounds like overclocks.
Basically, that is the thing, though, Tom. Yeah, because like upgrades would make more sense because really the changes aren't that big. But having that little upgrades, you might as well just make them overclocks. But I don't know. I think they definitely, if they were to add overclocks and or upgrades and or just like different classifications of the same grenade, these would be quite versatile and quite interesting.
Yeah, it's just that they for like the traversal tools, they do only have like 1 row, don't they? Or like, is it, how many rows is it?
No,
I think-
traversal
one,
and utility
2.
have quite a few. The pickaxe has a row and a single upgrade. The pickaxes are barren, right? They're the only reason why I think they could just add a row of single ass upgrades on the grenades, because the pickaxes are like
Yeah.
that. So it's possible, but really people would prefer just call them overclocks, even though gameplay wise there could be literally just upgrades. To just call them overclocks.
Overclocks
but
makes
I
it so
wanna-
there's just more
I
stuff
just want
to
to
do.
unlock more overclocks.
Yeah, that is also true.
Yeah, that's the only reason why
Also,
I'd want them,
it
but
doesn't
then it
hurt
would mean
grenades
that
that
it would
much.
be worse for new people.
Yeah.
'Cause we do got to think about new people as well, and a lot of the stuff that we want to add does make it worse for new people.
I think because I'm thinking maybe a 3-round burst would be kind of good. Because think about it would be awkward to throw 20 throwing knives, right? Because I imagine you throw them pretty quick, but there is a limit on speed in this game, especially considering you probably have to throw it as fast as you fire, right? But if
you
it
have
was
24 and you throw 3 at a time,
Yeah.
so like you actually have 8 shots, like the
Yeah.
impact axes.
And,
but you do throw 3, and that's why
if
your
you're, like-
transmission retrieval works, because you might, if you want to use them to clear like terrain, stuff,
2 of them are going to go off in a random ass direction, and you have to get them back.
but they're not that hard to retrieve because you can like magnet them.
And if you
You
get
could
to the
change
end, and
the
there's only,
pattern that you throw them in. You could throw them in. You know how Genji does his stuff.
Well,
in
that is what I'm
Overwatch, where
thinking. Yeah,
He throws 3 at once, or he does 3. Well, he does 3 at once, whatever, but he
And a
does 3 in a
spray of
straight
3.
line, and he does 3 as a spray.
I'm thinking of spray because
you
basically
can change
then,
between 'em.
if you want to do all of the attack on one guy like you're in a Praetorian's ass, you go through and bang. You apply 3 bleeding effect if they stack, and then that Praetorian is dying. Or
It's
you
like
step
Bloom
back.
Jitsu
And there's,
from
yeah,
Bloom's tower defense.
yeah, or if there's like a horde of glyphids, you can kind of just throw the things in there, and like 3 of the front glyphids start bleeding. Like you can get like an area kind of spread. But
Should they damage enemies on their return path if they can, and they would use them? That'd be pretty cool.
I don't think bolts do. I think that's a bit much. I know that's a
sure.
weird place to draw the line, but at this point, I think these things have gone far beyond. I mean, well, no. I
Thinking
think
of return path, do you think they should add a boomerang?
I actually don't have Boomerang
Well-
written here, which is weird. But this is just the point. I wanted someone to come up with other ideas. But yeah, Boomerang.
I didn't think
Boomerang.
there would be enough time, and I think I was right.
Considering it'd be reusable, would it even work as one?
Very low damage, and it would just cleave through like a bunch of shit
Yeah.
in like a weird arc. And yeah, it would be
I think-
usable, I guess.
Honestly,
Maybe a certain amount of enemies. You do have a number of them, but if it doesn't hit, like it has a certain number of enemies you can hit, and if it hits that number, then it gets used up. But if it doesn't, then it comes back,
if we are,
which would still be overpowered. But
if
We should just add a new character that has the boomerang.
yeah, it's the
Hunter.
hunter. Yeah, that fits in. But
The hunter from Clash Royale.
I think
no, the
Boomerang.
hunter from Craven the Hunter.
I think
Got that Craven.
Is Morbius going to be the next
Class
dwarf in Deep Rock?
oh my god. I mean, you've already got Vampire. You can do Morbius whenever you so damn feel. Vampire Scout, job done. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's taking the...
Morbius playthrough of Deep Rock.
yeah, Morbius build. Time to morb on these glyphids. No,
Oh my god.
I don't think the Boomerang idea seems to be 100% serious. But if we were to kind of
I
just...
think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, and I think if we were to kind of assign one kinetic vampire using kind of thing to anything, I think engineer would be what that
Sure,
would be for.
yeah.
I think they should add a new dwarf who's like pure melee.
No,
That's what most kind of people want. But I think they should just actually make pickaxes have a melee build and a mining build and some other build, like a
And
power
he should be like a medic, because he would be able to heal himself so much with vampire.
Jesus
doing
Christ,
this
all
on
the
purpose?
pain.
I combined 2 of them.
You combine the two things that we just don't think should be added.
I think
A melee class and a medic class.
Yeah, and they have some
Yeah.
demolitionist
I had
elements
to-
to it too.
I had to pull like some shit out of my ass to come up with like covers for those. It's like, no, we don't need a medic or a barbarian. We actually want an aviator and an alchemist. I had to like come up with some random shit so I wouldn't have to like think about those 2 ideas. Anyway, do you want to move on to the next grenade?
Let's.
Let's.
Let's. I don't like it when people say just let's. I don't like it.
I
sounds
like it a
wrong.
lot.
I don't
say
like
it.
it.
I feel important when I do it.
I feel
Indeed.
important.
I'm saying indeed
Yeah.
as well.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
I don't get it. Anyway, so
I'm shocked I said that
what's
right.
next? Oh, it's the Fastball.
The fast
Borderlands
am I?
again. Yeah. So in Borderlands 2, the Fastball is basically just a grenade that has a very small radius, and you throw it very quickly.
Isn't that
It moves very
just
fast. So
a slightly
no.
worse
This would be
longbow?
Gunner's face bomb, right? Because he would just like powerball it. He would like cock his like, arm back. You know, like you do, Tyler, when you like put your leg over the other leg and you like, swing your arm.
That's because
has
when I play football, I have a tendency of kicking my own arms because I kick too hard, so I have to raise my arms into the air.
yeah, he
Just
throw
takes
like
off.
like someone throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
And I think it would work exactly like the one from Borderlands, where it's a massive amount of area damage and a very small radius. I think that's, and also it still travels. It's not instant transmission, but it's also instant explosion. But it does have it, and it moves very quickly. It's sufficiently different enough, and it doesn't suit Engineer. This suits Gunner more, in my opinion.
Okay,
Yo!
yeah, this is a gonna just throw a grenade and just let it rip, basically. But
Let it rip.
Throw a grenade and shit your
Yeah.
That should be a
Shit
grenade.
grenade! It's just like
No,
when a
well,
monkey shits into
that's
his hand
coming
and
up soon.
flings it at the enemy.
You shouldn't have a clap. You just shouldn't.
Yeah. They just start throwing hands.
It's a grenade that's only usable after you failed a mission. You're in the hospital gown.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You just got like shit stains in your underwear for the rest of the mission. I'm surprised they didn't add an underwear that has that. Opportunity.
What a
missed.
shit stain one.
Yeah.
That's
It's
horrible.
so funny. Like, ooh, it's the stinky shit man. Ooh.
Also, I don't see why you can't have them topless. I mean, you can. Obviously, mods did it. But obviously, they don't even have nipples.
Nudity.
But it wouldn't be nudity though. You don't even.
No, but they should
The
be.
driller takes
should.
every opportunity he can get to take
When
a shot.
are they gonna customize penis size in Deep Rock Galactic? When are we gonna be able to
Just add
accessorize our
bulge.
cocks?
So I can hear your button clicking.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you
Thank
better
you. Anyway, so
apologise.
thoughts on the fastball? I guess we could.
I think
It's not much.
It's
Not
definitely
very far we can go with it.
a gunner grenade because of how boring it is. But I honestly, I don't see the positive. Really, I don't. A small area of effect. It's just, I don't know. I don't see it as being worth it most of the time. Like, yeah.
Well, Gunner doesn't always. More often than not, Gunner doesn't need big area of effect on his grenades.
No, but they do most
still
of the time
good, but-
have status effects that go with them.
Yeah, but you don't need status effects when the enemy's dead.
Yeah, exactly. But I think when only like 1 or 2 enemies are dead, then
You get 4 of them. They do 1,000 area damage.
I just thought of a grenade idea. It's
Good.
like,
Go ahead.
I was thinking of like relating them to other characters' builds, like their utilities. Or if you had like a grenade that was like a shield that then like put a shield around like enemies and then just like crushed them or something, or just held them there. Just kind of like IFGs, I guess, but
like
I
a
was
prison
thinking
grenade
it's-
or like a cell grenade.
yeah. And it'd be like Gunner's shield, but you know, like you chuck it and then it's just like.
Well, actually,
like,
what I'm going to
crushes
do,
them.
there's an idea further down that I don't like. It's called the line drawer, and it's sort of like this. Except the idea was that you would like the grenades would be like points, and it would like draw like a box on the ground, and then it would like fold in on itself or something.
You know.
But I like this idea more, so I'm going to cross that out.
I get it.
What's like the arbalists or like the I know it's one of the twins' attacks where they shoot like a big line forward.
That's like the
explosions. What about
arbalist's
that?
like burst shot. Yeah, but
Yeah, but it's just like, what if you throw a grenade that's like one line?
and it was like walls.
Yeah, it was like
Push
whichever
them
direction.
Well, I can't really push them
you-
away.
Because then
Yeah,
you
Tyler,
could
it's not
look
the arbalist.
sideways to do it, or you could do it like the arbalist or.
Oh, right.
talking
no, I
about
know
the
what it means.
shockwave thing.
Yeah, the shockwave one.
Like, the spikes
Yeah.
with the lacerator.
So that shockwave
Oh,
effect
lacerator.
is only they can't actually apply that to Glyphids, can they?
No, which they have to do this, right? They have to be able to make it so enemies can be ragdolled without them dying, because it will open up so many things, so many
Well,
possibilities.
I suppose
Like blowing Glyphids away, like the thunder gun in Zombies. They like go flying, but it doesn't have to kill them all.
Yeah, or maybe not inherently ragdolled either. Just have them be able to enter a state where they're not touching the floor, and they're just, like maybe they just have like a flying animation where they go like,
Yeah, yeah, that'd be brilliant actually.
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah, like I don't know, just allow them to be moved without them doing it themselves. Would allow for so many new guns, grenades, perks.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that would bring up like a shockwave grenade, where it actually just does that,
yeah.
which would suit pretty much anyone.
And
actually.
a bunch of like overclocks as well. I mean, they probably would rework some guns. I know, like
Like
PGL should be
RJ250.
able to do that.
Yeah.
Naturally, like big enough explosions. Point is, yeah, that would be nice. But I mean, maybe I don't know. I think a wall prison grenade would be pretty cool. Like a temporary, you shall not pass. I think for Gunner, it's pointless because he has a shield. So who else would have this? Probably Driller.
Gunner.
But Gunner
Well, it's
doesn't
like
need it.
same-
He's got a shield.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
the shield when you don't have a shield.
Yeah, but then you don't have a shield, and that's what they
Yeah,
mean.
it'd be good for Driller because Driller doesn't really have anything like that to sort of like protect
Well, the thing
himself.
is, Driller is also crowd control, which I imagine a wall would do. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I
so-
think it'd work perfectly on Driller actually.
Yeah.
Because like Scout has a way to get away because he literally just fucking flies
Leaves,
away.
yeah.
Engineer's whole thing is like he has fucking so much shit going on that he can just prevent them from getting near. But
Engineer
doesn't
is
have that.
you just stop them from getting to you. That's how you survive.
Yeah.
Engineer.
Gunner, you just kill them all before they do it, and if they do,
Or you
just
put a
become
shield down.
invincible. Yeah. And then for Driller, you just have to let them take you, and then but you kind of just back up and slowly whittle them down with like area.
That is
and
the thing
slow
I
and
love
stuff.
about Driller the most, because Driller promotes such like an aggressive play style.
it's-
But your job is to be in the horde.
Yeah,
I
I think
like-
it's,
I
you're
like
you're
that
really like
idea.
malleable. I think I said that right as well. Like
Malleable, yeah.
You
Yeah.
manipulate the terrain literally with the drills, and you can gotta go anywhere you want. But also, you don't really settle down anywhere either because the Glyphids will take you. Because your gun, I mean, well, cryo is good at stopping things, right? But it's obviously isn't here to kill them, which you can do. But with flamethrower and like goo cannon, you only really slow them. Obviously, you most of the time you also kill them. But like you don't just drop them basically. You kind of have to give them a second to die. And I think a wall would be a pretty good idea for if you actually want to hold your ground, you use that grenade. Maybe you do a line of sticky flames and then you throw the wall down in front of the sticky flames so they're stuck sitting on it for as long as they can. Although normally they're stuck on it anyway, but that kind of thing. I think it'd be,
Sure, buddy. There was actually a while ago. There was like an idea. I now citation needed. Right. I can't tell you how true this actually is, but there was like a point in development where they had like an alternate, not necessarily an alternate tool for engineer, but maybe something a drop. There was a point where they had a lot of different drops that you could call in. Like there was more than just the supply drop. You could call in like a turret and a floodlight, and I believe one of them was also like a wall that you can set up.
I would like that,
that.
but I was.
Yeah.
The
I
drops
think we
being
should do that
expanded.
another time, but drops being
Class
expanded would be
specific
amazing.
drops. Oh, okay. Let's
Oh,
save that. Save that.
Yeah, no, let's save that.
I
You've
think
got so much nitra, and there's no point in saving it because you only spend it on ammunition.
It's
so
just
what's the point in
assuming
not
that
spending it on ammunition?
everyone still gets a resupply pod, right? It's resupply and then something else below it that you would have to double tap for.
No. Yes. Yes. Right, that's exactly
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, sure, but if only one character
No.
has resupply pods, that's the only character that's ever going to get played. Like, 'cause,
That's
yeah,
not what I
run
would
out of
say.
ammo,
Everyone
but,
has
yeah.
resupplies, but you tap again. I don't know. Do you want to do this now?
No, but that
go back
is
to
a
grenades.
write that down, Harry, because I assume you
That's
got
a
your
whole
paper
video.
to hand. Because you don't want to forget that, because that is a funky idea that will never get added, but doesn't hurt to talk about. Especially if they did add it, because then we're like, called that shit.
Because it's not like
So
talking
it's-
about this stuff
okay.
is ever going to get it added. It's just cool to talk about.
Theorize and just
Well,
come up with
yeah.
stuff.
New grenades will be added, so our
Yeah, which is
our
why we're doing
brainstorming
this.
isn't
Yeah.
futile. Anyway, so fastball, yay or nay? I guess. I guess.
I think
would
it's
also say-
fine,
would
but I
say
don't
nay.
see why people would use it.
No, I'm not like throwing knives so far is probably the best idea.
Well, it's
Um,
sparked the most. I think the most reasonable one is definitely the pulse grenade, or the pulse, but the pulse bomb. That's in the game already. I think it's quite likely to enter the game. Kunai knives are the coolest. Well, it's kunai knives, throwing knives, which basically the same thing but looks different, or throwing stars, and I prefer throwing stars.
So do I.
So
I didn't even realise that it's like the throwing knives is like kunai, so that's like 0 from Borderlands. I didn't even realise. And then what's an overclock where they could apply random status effect? They
yeah.
do.
Uh,
In the game, marked for death. Okay, next idea. This is a bad one.
okay.
The plasma bouncer. So this is not the plasma burster. Basically, the idea for this is like a slow-moving but not gravity affected grenade that would, like, on impact with anything, it would release an explosion, but then it would bounce off in a different direction. So it would just be sort of this slow, sort of bouncy ball of death.
Isn't that what Plasma Burster does? But obviously not as long.
No, it doesn't work like that at all. Plasma burster just goes in a line. This bounces off things, so it can end up going like from going horizontally to going straight up. It's also like, it's not affected by gravity. Plasma bursters are.
Because
I think-
plasma bursters are very much affected by gravity. It causes
yeah.
quite a few
Hold on,
issues.
stop. can we take that aspect of it though? There's no grenades that do
Going
that
with
aren't
that-
affected by gravity. So I like that idea.
Going with that exact idea, I don't like it. Right, because picture it: you throw a bomb in the middle of a horde, it blows up, and then because of what I can only assume is going to be chance, it will shoot up to the opposite side of the cave thanks to no gravity at like the top, and then just do its thing over there. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
thanks, grenade. You just left. Like that's so nice. Meanwhile, I think maybe this is because I can see this as being a actual viable one for Gunner, in that it's like a bouncing Betty, in that it kind of just blows up, kind of goes up in the air, comes back down, goes back in the air, comes back down, and it just kind of like bombs the ever-loving shit out of everything below it. And it wouldn't be plasma because I don't know, plasma feels wrong for that, and for Gunner.
Hold on, what about just the disc grenade, where it's just a disc that flies? And
How about you
cuts?
don't change the topic? Because I realise that they've actually added a bounce mechanic with the beach ball. So bouncing has a precedent now. And
You're correct. Well, the football had that.
Beach
did it
ball
actually have
grenade.
as much bounce as a beach ball though? Beach ball felt bouncier. Like
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the beach ball would be is more sort of what I'm thinking of.
so yeah.
If it is affected by gravity,
Yeah.
sure, why not? Why
Which,
not?
so yeah, it's like a bouncing Betty grenade that you kind of throw, and maybe it's plasma as well, or burst, or whatever. It does some form of damage, and it kind of just bounces its way through a horde.
It's like when you throw
slowly getting
like-
smaller and smaller arcs.
like in Terraria when you throw a bouncy dynamite, or well, actually that's not accurate, but I'd say that is accurate. Throwing a
Spiky balls
bouncy
grenade.
dynamite. Ooh, that's just the throwing. That's just the shurikens.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
Yeah, but they bounce. I
Okay.
don't know, I was just thinking Terraria stuff.
I could tell.
Yeah,
We-
speaking
we-
of Terraria, we'll get to that. There's something in here that's
Okay.
directly from Terraria. There's two actually.
How about we
one
do
of
that
them,
now?
One of them you might like. The other one will make Tyler actually like probably want to shit because he won't like it. No, we're not
I
doing
don't
it now.
like
We're going down the list unless you bring
Oh,
up
I thought you were
something very
already
similar to
hyping
something
up.
further down.
Right, so the bouncing Betty, I think that is a viable because it is a quite
Excuse me.
simple yet effective thing for Gunner. I think you throw it down, it bounces through the horde. If it hits a wall, it comes back basically, or something like that. Like it will
Well,
kind of double.
I
Take.
do have Bouncing Betty written here, in brackets, Borderlands style.
Right.
So it's not that different. It would literally just bounce around while shooting bullets. That's not a normal Bouncing Betty.
Yeah.
That's not what they do. I thought it was because I've been poisoned by Borderlands.
So you thought that's what the bouncing Betty was? That the
I'd
they used
forgot
in the
that.
war.
I'd forgot that wasn't what they were. It's a difference, right? So that's the Bouncing Betty done then. But which means we have to go one back. Plasma Burster, I guess, because I'm writing down what class we gave them to. NA. Okay. It's in between the Plasma Bouncer and the Bouncing Betties. The Sludge Grenade, which is one of the more simple ones, but it was inevitable.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of the few
So-
status effects that doesn't have a grenade. So
Yeah. So immediately we just got to go. So first of all, this is corrosive sludge. It's like the sludge pump. But the first we need to establish is: will it function more like a sludge pump charge shot or like the incendiary grenade? Which are similar in what the result is, but they function differently.
I think
Where
it's
the sludge
definitely
pump charge shot hits and then explodes on impact.
explodes. Yeah, I think it's going to be you throw and then the second it comes in contact, it will explode into a bunch of puddles. I think that is the most reasonable way of going about it.
And it's a simple grenade. It'd be powerful. It would kill a lot of shit.
And
It
let's
would
cross
definitely
this off.
be-
Definitely not for Driller.
Not
right?
for Driller.
Obviously.
And not for Scout either.
I don't think
I think
it
that's
would
pretty
fit
obvious.
Engineer. I think
It
it's
fits
a
Gunner, obviously.
I think
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And especially since incendiaries. If anything, it's too close, but that's not being
It
an
would
issue.
be. I think it would be too close though, because you'd want it on Gunner because you can set
Well,
them on fire
cryo and
really easily.
pheromones aren't that different either. Bear in mind.
No, but Tyler, the incendiary grenade is made of sticky flames. this is too similar because you can turn the sludge into sticky flames. It's basically an incendiary grenade but stronger. So maybe it's actually not really viable to be added, at least not for gunner, because it would, unless it's very different and it's like a much smaller area.
Well, maybe it's just a much smaller. I don't know, like time.
Just throw it sort of splodges, or maybe it's more similar to like the Goo Bomber Special, where it sort of rolls and leaves a line of sludge.
I agree that well, thing is, it would then be quite similar to the cluster grenade as well, in how that it acts. You know what I mean?
What is that sound?
It's a truck with.
Is that a microwave flying down the road?
It might as well be, but it could be like cluster grenade. It's very similar. You know, one big explosion that releases lots of little ones. That's the cluster grenade. And as much as that is the charged thing, it's still So I don't know.
But maybe that's more like similar to what we should be expecting. Maybe the grenades aren't going to be that drastically different from what's already in the game. The difference it just comes from how they're dealing damage, not the actual end result.
Yeah.
You know, which is just what the weapons are. So maybe we shouldn't be viewing grenades that differently. So maybe it would still work.
I think I think it fits Gunner the most, but only because it has two things that would already be pretty similar to it. You know, in like display and execution. You know,
it would fit Engineer.
I think it would.
It would.
Engineer doesn't really have any.
Grouping enemies up and slowing them down is a big thing. That would help Engineer. I mean, you can do it in a few ways as Engineer, but
and with corrosion being
it's sort of like it's the perfect union of form and function of the lure and the proximity mine melded into one.
Yeah. So I think execution wise it's not that hard to decide, but for the character it is kind of difficult. As long as it's not Driller, honestly it's fine, I think.
It doesn't suit Scout though at all. So Engineer or Gunner.
I suppose, it would be pretty strong for Scout. Well, it does suit Scout, but also no. But it does. You know, it's not that different from Cryo or Pheromones in that it's an instant release of status effect.
Well, I have to ask if Bullets of Mercy benefits from corrosion, but it doesn't matter, because I always bring up Bullets of Mercy, but it's not like Scout hinges on Bullets of Mercy.
You're right, eh?
Me?
Yeah, you're just making a wave of noise.
Oh.
You just punch your mic.
Did just now.
Do it.
Do it.
Alright.
Okay. So sludge grenade, either Engineer or Gunner. We can't decide, but we'd love to see it.
It would make sense.
Okay, another Borderlands one. Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
It's back, baby.
Lightning
the lightning
bolt.
bolt. It's in the thumbnail actually. It's right there. But no, we don't need firebolt. Fuck firebolt.
Oh.
But I guess approaching this from a basic perspective, separate from what the lightning bolt would actually be. There's no electric grenade.
Yeah.
I think the lure is like masquerading. The lure and the IFG are like masquerading.
They technically deal electricity, but
they technically don't. You dolt.
Well,
electricity.
No,
IFG just slows them down.
With the
electricity is a damage over time effect. Yeah, whatever. Gay. Fucking hell. Apologies.
And the IFG, when detonated, it does just straight up release electric, right?
The lure.
Yeah.
I still don't think it does anything.
It does. It does.
It says it. But it doesn't.
Because it often doesn't break.
It gets destroyed.
Yeah, that's when it gets destroyed. It's supposed to release explosion.
It definitely doesn't.
Okay.
If it does, it's the most pathetic thing on the planet.
I think it is.
And Lightning Bolt will fix that. Now, the problem is Lightning Bolt, as it is in Borderlands. I really hope anyone's watching this has played Borderlands.
It would help.
It's like a bolt of lightning instantly comes out of your hand, and
which is obviously not what it's going to be.
Well, that's what I want it to be.
Yeah, but it's not. I think.
But a Tesla grenade, you could throw it quite fast, and the first enemy it hits, it goes from that and like chains a bunch.
Yeah. The thing is it's gonna be probably for Driller. And or
Driller or Engineer. No, driller or engineer.
Actually,
engineers not.
Oh, I think because the
Oh, I
lure
think 'cause, the lure
can do electric,
do electric.
and he can
And
do
I
electric
don't
with
care
the
about the
stubby.
lure.
with the stubby.
So electric wise, he's good.
Electric-wise, he's good.
Yeah, but the stubby can be benefited from other things that inflict electricity, and the shard diffractor would love it.
I suppose.
And so would the smart rifle. They both have bonuses. I think it does suit engineer quite well. Driller, I'm not sure. I guess it suits driller in a weird, like, backwards way, where a lot of people wanted like a Tesla gun for driller instead of the sludge pump.
Yeah.
And it
So
would
this
work
can be it.
exactly as
It would
people
work
wanted the
exactly
Tesla
as
sludge.
people wanted
Tesla sludge.
The Tesla
Gun
sludge.
would be.
The Tesla sludge.
Yeah.
The fuck.
We would like
we would like chain a bunch.
But I mean, and it would be a pretty good,
it would be a pretty good
like area crowd control kind of thing, because electricity really does
slow,
and that fits into what
that fits into
Driller
what
has. So I think unlike the other one, which
unlike the other one,
civil elimination, it's good for driller and engineer. It would
Also,
benefit
to
both
me,
of them.
benefit both of them.
To me, a grenade that would actually complement the flamethrower quite well. I think.
Fire and lightning
Fire and lightning
really do go together
go together
for many reasons.
for many reasons.
Most of which being a pretty fucking sick combo.
Sick combo.
Yeah,
Like,
but also you can see how it would work. Obviously, like you Tesla a group of enemies,
yeah.
and they're weaker and more grouped together. I don't know. I think it should just work.
It would.
It's cool. It's great. It's awesome. It's the best.
How
thing
it
ever.
actually does the grenade probably won't just appear from your hand, but maybe it's just a little.
No, I think it should. I think it should. And he'd be like, "Hold on, rock, no, fuck, lightning bolt." I can't tell. I couldn't quite get the dwarf voice.
That wasn't bad.
Rock and stone, lightning bolt. Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
Obviously,
lightning bolt. We
preferably
like this idea.
that would be amazing if they added the straight up lightning bolt from Borderlands. But
If it doesn't function that way, what are we thinking? Just like it's pretty, like you throw it onto the ground and it just sort of like
it's like a
tases everything around it.
a grenade.
I want it to be a little bit more
pylon.
complex.
Maybe
than
it's
just
like a
glorified
needle
taser bolt.
that you throw into a glyphid and then it changes from there. Just something
yeah,
you throw
something
and
you
then
throw
it will chain the electricity. Preferably.
Oh
it
my
wouldn't-
god! What if it is like a
I'm back.
needle?
Sorry, I
It's
went
got
for
like
I need to go to the toilet.
You didn't
It's
have
got
to
like
say
a
any of
cord.
those things.
it has like a cord tied to it. That's like tied to you and it like sends electricity through it.
It's like a flail.
It's like
it
a
just kind of
flail.
follows
It
you
just kind of follows you.
as you're like walking around, and it just electrocutes.
Like a
stuff.
imagine a retractable knife, like scorpion.
But that might be a
Okay,
bit much.
I got it because like we obviously we've done the throwing knife, but what if it was just one and it's like retractable and it is actually like scorpion? And I can do this. I can do like the normal scorpion thing's like get over here, but then you do it as a dwarf. Hold on.
Do your rock and stone.
Rock and stone, get over here. That's still scorpion.
Yeah.
Get over here, you glyphic grunt.
That was it.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. But no, we're not doing it. Just leave that idea behind. Lightning
yeah.
bolt's cool. Either engineer or driller.
Yeah. And execution wise, up to developers. But I want it to. It's not like a radius of the thing to electrocute. I
We'll
want it
give
to
them
be
some
like-
creative liberty here.
Yeah, we'll allow them
Yeah,
to
we'll allow them
do
to-
their thing. Also, I think isn't this the first one we've allowed for driller?
No, Tom's wall idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Alright, yeah.
So how are we looking so far? We got like a nice range.
No, Gunner seems fairly popular. Scout's only got one. Oh, engineer and scout. No, engineer and gunner are in the same. Like they're the same amount basically. Scout's only got one so far. Driller's got two. Driller's got two, but he shares it with someone.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. Okay.
Right, next two quite boring, but good. So let's do it.
Also, while we just little checkpoint, how many have we done?
8.
We're an hour in.
Well,
because this is going to be one of our longest.
That's fine, because some of these ideas are not great. Flashbang. So, stun grenade.
Yeah.
This is the boring one. I guess what we need to get out of the way is this would be good.
Scout.
And scout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get that out of the way. It'll be good, and it will be on scout. But it's just kind of boring.
It is very boring.
That's the problem.
It is very boring. But it also, costs as menus.
That stuns.
That's like the stun grenade.
But this would be much longer. This would be like an 8-second stun. It would have to be the strongest stun in the game. Like, you would only have 4 to make this work. Strongest stun in the game in an area is sort of what I'm thinking to sort of push this to a realm of. It could be exciting to use if it's just strong enough.
It should be
maybe a little bit of damage too. I think it wouldn't be out of place. Maybe it does a very small amount of damage.
Well, it would be a place.
It would be a place. He didn't do damage.
Also, Harry, I can do it.
But
like McCree in Overwatch, not anymore. But he did used to have a flash that's like a very, very short range thing. Like it would only detonate within like a bit of something away from you. So maybe it is a grenade that you have to literally be inches away from the glyphids, like to.
It's like it's like the memory eraser thing from Men in Black.
Yeah.
So it's like it can work. It's not long. It's not like a big. It's not going to affect many enemies at once. But it's like a 10-second stun. It's like crazy.
It's like if you get
and it can stun anything.
It's like if you get jumped by a thing, just look at it, throw the grenade, like just like shearing white. Yeah.
Should it be able to stun like anything, like dreadnoughts as well? Because
honestly, maybe severely reduced. Yeah. But I think it would be a valid decision to just allow it to stun for like a second or two for things that can't be stunned, because then that will put it on a different level. That will put it higher up on like valueness word.
I mean, obviously cryo grenades don't really work against dreadnoughts. I mean, they can.
No, but they do a good enough job everywhere else.
It would also give something against Scout a grenade to do something against dreadnoughts, because he doesn't have one that does anything against dreadnoughts.
IFGs, you monkey. They slow it down and weaken them. It's enough. That's great.
Yeah, never mind.
It really helps teammates.
Makes sense.
Just forgot.
Forgot they exist.
More options are always appreciated, and I think a stun grenade, while boring, could be a very nice addition. If it is like a
boring doesn't mean bad, because just because it's boring in premise doesn't mean it's boring in place.
Well, I immediately led this with it'll be good.
Like, it's not that wild of a concept. Admittedly, it's a cool one.
Yeah, but it's not a boring concept either, is it? Throwing axes are pretty damn cool.
Grenades are pretty cool.
I don't think they are.
And also, if you play COD, flash grenades bring you back to like dark places in your mind, but
or very bright places.
Well, also bear in mind that concussion grenades would also work.
Well, that's basically what it is.
Yeah. So if you don't want to call it a flash, concussion's a bit fancier. But
sure,
or a
why
stun
not?
Grenade. It's literally steady.
You just throw it, it explodes impact. It's like functions like the cryo grenade, except it's stuns.
But I'm thinking it has like a lot more of a drop off. Like you need to use it a lot closer range.
I agree with that, actually.
Just to give it a bit of something different, and also it can be used to stun things that can't be stunned just for a very short time.
Yep. Cool. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Because we're running out of time. We're not running out, but we might run out of time. So, flashbangs, or stun grenades, brother. The more complicated one. So that's clean cut. The fear bomb, or the fear grenade, I don't know. The one that I want more, probably, because my opinion, how the fear one would work, it'd be like a siren. What the fuck is that?
That was an ice cream truck.
I was thinking about
it could be like a it could be like an image or a noise of something that like glyphids are really scared of.
Well, there's two ideas, and they sort of revolve
I don't know
around
what they
being,
would be scared of, but something.
It revolves around it being an object that they would run from. It's not like an effect that comes out of a grenade, and they would just.
Do you think they're afraid of spiders?
It goes onto the ground and it like releases a noise. It goes, whoa, whoa,
like a dreadnought roar. Like I don't know, because if you actually think about it, technically, right, the only reason why swarms and grunts don't really swarm in dreadnought missions is because it would be unfair if they did. But you could also twist it that like most normal grunts don't spawn while you're fighting a normal dreadnought because they're afraid. They don't like being near dreadnoughts, right?
Maybe they're predated on by the dreadnought.
Yeah,
No,
like, I mean,
it's not predatory. It's just dominance, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just respect.
they are absolutely shit scared of them, and they will give them the space that they need, especially to like hibernate or fight, I guess.
Just let them get killed. Is actually what's happening.
So maybe you throw down like a speaker, and it just like does like a hive guard or
boom,
that
boom,
kind of thing.
boom. I can't stop saying.
Yeah.
I saw Dan Ball got like jacked.
I forgot it even existed, but yeah.
Yeah, I said lying, so I saw that he got jacked.
Yeah, maybe you throw down like a comical like siren head kind of grenade, like instead of just a little.
It's like a
speaker,
little siren,
Yeah.
like a megaphone.
but it does like random dreadnought cries for like
Either that,
about
or it's a
almost
hologram
maybe
that
a
runs
lure.
around. But what if it's like the lure, except it runs around, scary?
Yeah.
Just runs up and goes, boo!
You know what would be really
then runs
cool,
off
but
again.
really unrealistic? A dreadnought hologram grenade. Like it straight
Oh my
up
God.
holograms a dreadnought to like just run around, which would be absolutely sick, but completely unrealistic. But yeah, and things get really
Oh,
afraid
because
of it.
realism is really what we're concerned about here.
It is, because why bother positing an idea if it's not
Tyler,
possible?
I have Mjolnir written here.
Yeah, and I will tell you
get
it's
to that.
dumb. It's not actually.
Yeah, you
it
will.
might be. We'll see.
I think you might like this one.
But
Well, that's not the next one.
I think the fear grenade, very simply, could be like a dreadnought cry or just some other loud noise that scares them away from an area.
But
for
well, my
10
idea is that it would
seconds,
be
maybe.
like Banshee module, but sort of taken up a notch. It wouldn't just be like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like the cryo grenade, but it inflicts fear. It'd be like a stationary object that inflicts fear for a long time.
So
So
as
you can
far
keep
as
things away from an area. So
Yeah.
engineer,
I'm,
or scout.
yeah, engineer or scout.
but probably engineer.
Yeah, even though it's not anything against driller, it just doesn't feel right.
It is also remember. I think it suits engineer because it's like the anti-lure.
Yeah, but he has the lure, so I'm not sure if you want to. I don't know.
Well, scout is almost like the anti, and not the anti, but the other half. So maybe engineer or scout.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah.
that works
Right.
with me, boy.
Back to Terraria.
Oh,
So
good.
I've got Scarab bomb.
Ah, the Scarab
Stink
bomb. I was
bomb.
trying to figure out which bomb. Yeah, that's probably the other one, isn't it?
Stink bomb.
Yeah.
No, you won't be surprised when you find out what the other one is.
All right.
So
Scarab bomb.
obviously the Scarab bomb is like releases a line of explosions, but that's not. I can't
it's-
tell what half of the Scarab bomb I want to take. Like
Yeah,
most
it releases a
from it.
line of explosions, but technically it's the opposite direction to wherever you are standing from the Scarab bomb, which obviously you probably can't carry that exactly into deep
No,
rock.
but it'd be where you're looking.
Yeah, or it's just away
But what
from
does that
you.
mean for where the grenade is? Yeah, away from you, but like forwards. So you can like walk around it, but it would still be going like, away from you
Yeah,
directly, not like off to the side. So if you like you throw it down in front of you, you move to like its right side.
but the thing is,
Suddenly
Deep
it's
Rock-
going to the left of where it started.
Deep Rock doesn't really need to wait. Like, it's well within possibility that a Scarab bomb can just explode everything in front of you, right? Like, you don't need
Yeah, it would just be a line, but
pussyfoot
that's very
around.
similar to the plasma burster.
I suppose, but this could have range.
It would be in a line too. It wouldn't be like bouncing across the ground. It would be like a line of a lot of small explosions.
And as much as I'm not fond of this idea, but you could also have it destroy terrain. And
Yeah.
line out a path.
Yeah, it's almost like it's what HEs were meant to be.
HEs weren't meant to be anything. Really. They're just a placeholder
So,
that they left in the game.
Based on that,
Same as
as
Saturn Charge.
a more, it's not the simplest thing in the world, but as a more simple grenade, I think it suits Driller in that sort of realm. As this would be his more
Yeah.
simple, or more direct, explosive grenade.
Honestly, I'm thinking more Gunner.
Well, I'm thinking either Gunner or Driller.
Because
but-
Gunner could do with a level of mobility coming from a grenade. While also being used to be able to kill everything in front of you, which is a pretty simple use. Having it also be available to clearing out paths would be pretty nice for a gunner to have.
It's weirdly enough, destroying terrain suits Gunner more. Which
Yeah.
sounds stupid, but his weapons destroy terrain. All of his weapons, pretty much, except the Burt.
Yeah.
Burt and throwing traversal support tools aside, the Burt and the incendiary grenade are the only parts of Gunner's arsenal that don't destroy terrain, so it would be right at home.
Minigun doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
It does, but very minimal.
Alright.
Yeah, because he's Gunner and he's a lunatic.
So yeah, like it's like, you know, those times where like there's like a very small, like if you get a helmet and there's like a body, you know, in the wall, you can just like throw a Scarab at the entrance and it will like tunnel into it and stuff like that. Like maybe.
But hold on, so you think it should actually make a dwarf-sized tunnel?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, I don't see you could have more than 4 of these then, without that being
I don't
ridiculous.
think more than 4 anyway. I mean, even if it exploded everything in front of you, you should only have 4.
What about a bowling ball grenade? Just,
We'll get to
just
it.
Throw a bowling ball.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Oh, we'll get to it apparently. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the Scarab could be very much pulled in more far radical than it has to be, like with the throwing stars. Like, simple as, you throw the grenade, it kills everything in front of you. Basically a grenade breach cutter. Or you can go as far as mining through terrain and allowing you to move around as well. So, it's up to you.
Yeah. Sure, cool. Would it be good at single target damage though? Probably not, because that's the thing about the plasma burst. You have a fair bit of control over it. This thing would be like, it would just go in a line.
Yeah,
so
like
your
literally
job
just forward.
it's lining up the enemies more than positioning how you're going to throw the grenade. So,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just next one. The smart grenade. How do I do this? Right. It would use the lock-on mechanism from the smart rifle, but it would be like cluster bombs, right? So you would lock on, you'd throw the grenade. I don't know if it would like explode in midair or explode like on the ground, whatever. Either way, it explodes into the little smaller grenades, and they would just go to the targets. Pretty simple, but it'd be much more versatile and longer range. Not strong overall. You're not carrying as much firepower as a cluster grenade, but it's much more versatile. Its range.
Like,
you can probably focus them all on one target, so you can do that as well.
It's like you scan, like, let's go with like 5, 6, maybe 8 enemies with the you hold out the grenade and it locks on, and then once you release it, you throw a grenade into the air, and then it will like shatter into a bunch of like.
I think it will. You throw it and it's. Yeah, I think you throw it and it will split very early on. It will just like almost immediately just like splinter off into all the little grenades, and they could fly around, finding their targets.
Isn't that also a grenade in?
Not in Borderlands 2.
Wasn't that the homing heal ones? Isn't that? Don't they do
It's
that?
B-nades. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a B-nade.
Yeah, that's why I sort of got stumped when I came to this one, because I realised, oh, I've got B-nades as well, because that's the other Terraria one.
Right.
Yeah, so we can sort of put those in the same category, or the same thing, but at the same time, so if you want to round off the smart grenades without involving the B-nades, engineer.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Because it's too similar to the cluster grenade for it to be for gunner, but it's also smart. So
yeah, if it's a smart weapon, then it's for engineer, really.
It's also a hybrid single target and AOE grenade that you could, like I said, you could have all the locks go onto one enemy or a group of enemies, and that enough. It's just an exciting concept. So, engineer. We'll skip 2 to go to B-nades then, because it's very similar. I guess the B-nades would just be the same thing, but more on autopilot, and it's just a different concept. And they would actually use the bees. You would actually have the bees, of like the hollow bow or something, in the grenade.
I'm not sure about that. Only because I think shredders would work.
A shredder grenade.
Yeah, not as in like the shrapnel one, but like it releases like a bunch of little fuckers that will do a little bit of damage and probably slowly die. And by slowly I mean probably quickly. And they'll just
hold on.
kill as much as they can before they.
No,
they
there
go.
wouldn't be lots of little ones. It would literally be a full-on hack shredder. You'd have like 4 of them on you, and you would just throw them.
No, I mean maybe shredders are too big, but like 4 or 5 little fellas that go and hunt down things, and they don't do that much damage, but they'll like pierce and kind of attack many.
Well,
at a
yeah,
time.
they'll be like biting at it. It won't be explosions like the smart grenade. They'll sort of be biting at the enemies or slashing them.
Yeah.
Like little mini boss codes with blades on their arms.
Or little mini Steves, but robots and fly. But yeah,
You mean
just-
Bosco? Do you mean
No.
little mini Steves
Because
that
Bosco
fly?
shoots.
Pardon me.
But yeah, just like
Pardon
tiny little shredders that just kind of like just like kind of attack a bunch of grunts with like little tiny shredding stuff, and yeah,
Yeah.
and
Once
like,
again, still suits engineer more than anyone probably.
I don't know. Yeah,
Or
but also
scout, not gunner or driller, in my opinion.
I
Not gunner or driller.
think obviously, I mean, I posited this earlier, but Scout, I don't really want him doing damage, but I think it's an impossibility for them not to at this point. I think I'd be very surprised
Yeah.
if they can add 3 more grenades that don't do any damage while also them being good. Like,
Well, flashbang, fear bomb, and that one, which we haven't got to yet.
Alright. I suppose.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's possible.
I could see
Yeah.
Driller or
Driller
if they're like
if
robots,
they're like-
then maybe. But if they're
You know, what'd be
bees,
funny
I
is
could
if,
see
like,
Driller
considering
do that.
how many grenades we've gone through and are gonna go through more. What if none of them, like the grenades they added, were nothing like them? 'Cause
Yeah, that was
surely
the point
like,
of this.
surely we gotta get some right.
Yeah, even if
Alright.
it's for like the wrong character, just like sludge grenade. There's gotta be
Hold
a
on.
sludge grenade.
Can I
or
just-
something like that.
Can I ask, does it matter how long we actually take, really?
I'll just have to sink into some other footage.
Because obviously, okay, we can speed this up, but I also want to do like, let's try and predict which ones are most likely to get in once we're done.
No, yeah,
Um,
sure.
So B-nades, scout. I don't know what did we reset on
I
anyone?
honestly, if we actually go for bees, like actual
well, no,
bees in
the
game,
idea,
I
little metal bees.
yeah, robots, little shredding robots. Probably maybe scout if they do want to do some damage. Maybe engineer because there's Tie-Fi. But if we go for actual bees, I can see driller, not really gunner, but driller using them. Like
Yeah,
a
I'd see driller
little
using it too.
independent damage dealing like AOE that kind of just goes around and does what it wants for like a little bit of time. But yeah, I don't know. It would be an interesting one.
Right. Okay. Maybe we should just do it now. Mjolnir. Let's get this out of the way. So, I didn't have to write Mjolnir. It doesn't actually feed into it. It's no electricity
I'm just gonna
involved. Actually.
Get this quickly. Gunner.
Yes, this is going to be Gunner's melee grenade.
If we count even the
it's a
the
big-
boomerang,
it's a big
then
hammer.
that's all of them.
It's a big hammer. It deals AOE more than direct damage. It's like,
Yeah.
but you throw it and it comes back. But it doesn't like stick in the walls. You can't retrieve it. You have one, but it has like a battery capacity.
Bit like his shield.
Yeah, it releases like a charge of energy every time it makes impact, so it uses up battery capacity.
Well, the thing is though, Harry, is I kind of want it to actually get on the terrain because then it gets stuck in the terrain and people will try and pick it up and they won't be able to because that would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
It should come back on like it has like 4 charges or whatever, and it does electric damage when it does that, and then it comes back to you. But you could use it when it has
It
no charges
definitely-
left. It does no electricity damage.
If
There's
we
no
are-
splash
if
damage.
we
It
are
just
leaning
impact
in-
damage, and you have to go manually pick it up.
Yeah, if we're leaning 100% into the Mjolnir, electric AOE. Right.
Well, this is a combination of Mjolnir and the gravity hammer from
Yeah.
Halo,
I think
which is like releases like an electric charge, but you can still use it when it has no charge. It's just like a stronger melee weapon. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit weird.
well, no, but also yeah. I don't know. I think default level, big, heavy AOE throwable comes back, hammer, job done.
Hold on, AOE, but still melee. So you could like
Yeah.
vampire multiple enemies at once.
I honestly think this could be a tour. This could be a 2 grenades charge.
Yeah, because it's like the fat boy of grenades, but it's also a hammer.
Yeah. And I think if they would lead into the Mjolnir, it could be fucking badass. Because even though it's like, you know, Thor and that's Swedish. Or is it Swedish? It's just up there, right? It's Nordic.
Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is it Norwegian? Is that just wrong? I can't. I still don't know if Norse and Norway. Yeah, they're connected. They are.
yeah.
Sorry,
So I
they
think it's more than reasonable for them to have a Nordic god. It makes sense. Add Mjolnir.
Well, they have.
Do it.
Well, Scout has a tattoo of Mjolnir.
See?
In the roughneck armor.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
add Mjolnir to Gunner because it makes the most sense for Gunner to have it.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, really, that hammer works like the boomerang, not exactly, but it comes back, and like the
Oh
Scarab.
yeah. I forgot about the boomerang because I was
in that
thinking.
it will just kill everything in front of you.
Well, I was thinking there should be like a melee grenade for every class. And I thought, okay, we got very nice as Scout. We got obviously Impact Nexus, and we got Mjolnir for Gunner.
Yeah.
What about Engineer? I don't want to write it down here, but I remembered we talked about the boomerang.
Yeah.
It's Engineers. Yeah. So I'll write that down now. So yeah, Mjolnir, big fat fucking electric melee AoE grenade.
Yes. And
Cool.
it will be broken as all hell. You just will barely get to use it. It's just a fat boy technique. It does
You'll just use it
far.
twice.
It does far too much damage, and it's absolutely broken. But it's balanced by the fact that if anything, it's a waste using it most of the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
You're never really going to make the most of that massive damage.
Yeah. Unless you do.
It's like,
sometimes you can
that-
with Fat Boy.
It's like the massive hammer, like Hail Mary attack for the king.
Nice for the king reference. Harry. Yeah.
I will strive to make more for the king references in the future.
Don't.
Comment
Anyway.
down below if you want a For the King playthrough.
Oh god.
God, we were going to do that one.
Like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell notification.
Shut up.
Send me pictures of your bottom.
Only if you're a minor though. Don't.
What are you doing? Why would you say that?
Well, we're a YouTuber. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's put me on the list.
Second you become a YouTube channel, it's just like
Reach 100 subscribers, immediately acquire.
Don't say it.
Next grenade.
my
Right, enough
girlfriend
boring-
is 2 years younger than me and under 18.
Yeah, but we're in England, so
Why
it
would-
don't count.
Yeah, but
Jesus
people in
Christ.
America will watch it and be like, "Ooh,
I
bad."
know,
and
that's
I'm
why you
gonna-
said it like that. But I'm clarifying that it's legal here.
That's
Go
how
suck a
I say
fat
it to the
one.
Americans. As I say to them, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna go to prison." They're like, "Haha, no, we have a younger age of consent."
Damien can't
Tom,
pull up
Tom,
on you
this
about
is a-
going to
This is
prison.
a podcast about Deep Book Galactic. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't believe this. I can't.
It
What
should
country
be,
do you think has the youngest age of consent?
Isn't it like some Indian, Arabian
The
country?
glacial strata. Let's move on. Right. Shrapnel grenade. This is a slightly more boring one as well.
Very
actually.
boring.
Yeah. So
Wait, I just
the
realised
A-
I don't want to look that up because that's gonna look pretty sus on my fucking.
Yes, it will look
Well,
sus.
Tom,
Search
you've
history.
said it out loud, and we're going to post it on YouTube. So at that point, Google knows. Don't worry about it.
Google
Oh,
knows. Why would you want to look at noses? So yeah, the shrapnel grenade, very small area damage component, but it would release like direct damage shards, like just all over the place. Pretty simple.
It's so
I'm
simple
not actually
that I
big
don't
on
see
the
a
idea.
point. Honestly,
No.
I just have a normal grenade. It is really a big fuss for not much, really.
But it would potentially have a lot more range, I guess, than a normal grenade. I don't know. I wouldn't
Bleed
mind. I mean, I
effect,
don't
if
know.
there is
I don't know
one.
who it really. Yeah, I thought about that. I don't know who it really suits, though. I mean, I would
The
just have to
boringness
replace
of
HEs
Gunner.
with this, to be honest.
Yeah, HEs it would be a good replacement for.
But Gunner, it does suit Gunner.
Angola and the Philippines.
What is it, like
Age of consent
14?
is 12.
Oh dear.
I was going to guess 12. No, 14. That's like Italy, isn't it? Don't they that's like really low over there?
Apparently, most countries require young people to be at least 14.
That's not even like puberty, man. That's like.
That's why it's wrong. But
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time, I think it's kind of wrong here. So let's not get into this. because it's a
Well, the
deep
thing is,
podcast.
you know, it's already, you know, people are going to be doing. Tom did it at 15, so you know that.
Don't
stop
say
it.
what are you doing? That's first of all, that's weird. Second of all, that's his personal information.
That's
Firework
incriminating.
grenades.
Yeah,
I'm
which
gonna
bring
go
it
to
back
prison
to-
now.
yeah, well, you deserve it because you brought up age of consent in our Deep Rock podcast, so you get DDoSed. Have fun, Dave Smith at 341 Avenue.
I sabotage the Deep Rock podcast, so I go to prison.
So I ruin your life.
Yeah, you'll get a life sentence for that. Right. Firework grenade. Back to Borderlands.
That could be
Do you remember
used
the
as a field
skyrocket?
grenade.
Do you remember the skyrocket, Tyler? It's the one
Yeah.
you start with.
And you could
That
go
levels
the
with you.
entire run with it, but I most of the time often forget and sell it.
Yeah, so I guess the idea here really is that it's very spectacular, but also very dangerous to yourself. Because it would probably work very similarly to the skyrocket, because otherwise I don't really see what a firework grenade would be.
Fear.
If not very, like,
Big loud
awkward
noises.
to use, but very big AoE. Probably the biggest radius in the game.
It's something
But
that, like,
not
if
a
you
not a
use,
massive amount of damage.
if you were to
necessarily.
use in one of the smaller tunnels, you'd end up being very dead.
Yeah, it's like cluster grenade, except it's like 100 explosives, but they do like 5 damage each.
I think, I don't know, if you want people to die, then you can't really give it to Gunner because he'll probably survive.
But I think you probably should give it to Gunner.
Gunner is the
no
best
one else is
choice.
going to survive.
Well, the only one that would make sense for is Driller, but it's basically just a satchel charge. So it's like giving the shield one to Gunner, and I think that's a bad idea. So I wouldn't give it to Driller either. But I don't know.
Yeah, but
I
how
think
keen are you really even on the idea? We need to sort of address that.
Not
I'm not even sure if I
really.
actually want it in the game.
I think that as far as a firework grenade, I think it would make more sense to be the fear grenade, in that the big explosion would be the fear.
Oh, is he? Okay, he's still here.
Yeah, he cut out for a second there, got real
You cut out for a second.
scared.
Yeah, we were worried. We were thinking you'd have just.
It might have been
Broken.
Mum's phone connecting, because I can hear she just pulled up, because the car overheats at like normal temperatures, let alone how boiling it is today. So it's like a thunderous roar. But moving on quickly.
Yeah. Hold on. I guess we have to give it to someone, but Gunner. Okay. This is the bowling ball one. Well, actually, it's a rollerblade. Has anyone seen Battleship? The movie.
I watched it
Yeah,
a little
right.
bit in the background.
How do you always manage to sound like that whenever you say never heard of it or never seen it? It's always the same exact tone.
Yeah,
It just-
it's. I'm
Anyway,
proud of not knowing it.
So in Battleship, it's like these alien like robots that are like
That
It's
was
just
not
like
how
bl-
I
it's just like-
remember it.
they're just like blades that roll around. Tom, the movie. I'm surprised because the movie Battleship is known for how not, it's not the game Battleship. It's got aliens in it. It's about an alien invasion.
I just remember boats.
Yeah, but it's just like a buzzsaw that rolls around.
Like just at like ground level, and it just
It'll
pings
be
across
quite
like,
similar to
walls
the
and stuff.
rollers. It'll be quite similar to the shellbacks, I think. Actually, it would move in a similar way, but it would just sort of cut through.
Shellback grenade.
basically, or the razorback.
Call
I
it.
guess.
Call it the Razorback.
Call it the Youngling Smasher.
I mean, I don't know. Can only do that in what was it?
North
Philippines.
Korea.
Philippines.
Or Angola.
Yeah.
Let's say Philippines because I don't know where
the
Angola
the only
is.
place you can use that grenade is those places.
Yeah, so how do you feel about a grenade that just rolls around, just cutting things up?
I feel the
You
same
just-
way I
you-
feel
you
about
sort of
those
just
things. It's just
Chuck it out like a bowling ball, and it just rolls around.
well, I don't know. I think it's a more complicated version of basically just like at this point, I don't know, just a thing that you throw out and it just kills things in front of you, which I guess is most grenades. So I don't
Yeah,
know why
it's
I
not
was thinking
actually a
about that.
valid criticism.
Yeah.
That reductionist sort of argument has never worked. It just doesn't, because it just makes everything boring when you try and view things that way. And we're not here to be boring. We're here to be
awesome and cool.
Fun and gay.
Yeah.
This is unbroadcastable. This is,
Let's
What
start.
do you
Alright.
mean? I'm the
I'm
only
not
one
too
that's
hot
been
on
incriminating here.
I'm not sure what the
Other than Tyler
either.
incriminating me as well.
I'm changing to driller.
Yeah,
I
I
suppose.
suppose.
Why not? It's like a drill that just rolls around. This is a good one. The reatomizer grenade.
What does it do?
It reatomizes. Well,
Is that
Tyler,
it?
do you know what reatomizer is, Tyler? Don't you? Or for the coil gun.
Right.
It spreads the first enemy it hits spreads their ailments to everything else it hits. We're doing this but with a grenade, and we're not giving it to Gunner. Basically, what it
Then
would do,
driller.
every enemy in its radius,
Scout.
it would redistribute all of it would redistribute
Yeah.
every snatter effect that it and every enemy that hits to all the enemies that it hits. You know, so. A group of grunts, maybe one of them's got a bunch of effects on it. It will
Thing
spread
is-
them all.
thing
On
is-
a-
Is
Across the group.
more often than not, with most, you can kind of just deal the status effect.
yeah, which is why maybe not driller.
Yeah,
Maybe
or scout. Scout's pretty good at dealing status effects. He's got 2 grenades that could just deal with status effect if he wanted to.
Yeah, but he's got this grenade, which
Yeah,
can
but
spread
it
his
needs
more.
it needs to work with another one that can deal with status. Because Scout, other than his grenades,
I
finds
think
it
Engineer
slightly
would
hard
probably
to
be
deal
the best.
status effect stuff.
Especially
Tyler,
since
what about the poison bolts?
Then it's broken, so I don't want it as a grenade.
I know, it's obviously broken, but I want it.
Yeah, so engineer them.
What can engineer even do?
Electric. Radiation.
I mean, there's a lot of stun.
Fire.
Radiation.
That boy.
Yeah, but it's like an area.
Yeah.
No grenade is going to have a bigger radius than that.
Yeah, you just wait until it's at the end, and if anyone survived the radiation, you just throw the reatomizer. Keep it going. Keep the radiation going, baby. Let's go.
Keep the radiation going, baby.
And let's
on,
keep this
baby.
video going because honestly, I don't like the idea. So moving on.
I like the okay reatomizer. Let's give it to mission control.
I'm sure we'll appreciate it.
Right, this one is one that needs a little bit of
Reatomize your
tweaking.
mum.
Don't
I'm going to
need
reatomize your mum into a good person.
Impossible.
The homing drone. So
Isn't that the Beanade?
no.
Pretty much.
So in terms of what we're going for in terms of looks, immediately the Omen's drones is what this is. You just throw one out and it just does it, but it's not necessarily going to do exactly that. So
It's the
if it was like that,
V8.
it would just home in on the nearest enemy and explode. But what it actually is going to do. So
Beanade.
I don't know if anyone here played Borderlands 2.
Beanade Part 2.
It's not bees. It's going to shoot bullets.
Part 3.
So
Be-
in
The bullet grenade.
yeah, right. So in Borderlands 2, there's a shotgun called
There's
the
a
Deliverance. It's a TTO shotgun, and it homes in on enemies and shoots as it flies.
Shoots bees.
It's just
If it's a rocket launcher, that
bee
shoots
grenade
bees.
from Sea of Thieves.
All right, I'm going to give the homing drone to Ranger Garfax. You know, there's only one more.
Good.
Beanade Part 3.
Beanade Part 4. We're back, Beanade. I was going to say baby, but I realised I could say
Beanade 3 is
baby.
Morbin time. Beanade 7.
What's the
Back
last
from
one,
Dead.
eh? Bring us home.
Beanade 8. Again.
If you saved the boring one till last, I swear to God.
It's not that boring.
Beanade 9. Been too long.
Beanade 10. This is beginning to get tiring. Radiation grenade.
Boring. Give it to Scout.
Is it boring? It's basically just Fallout from Fatboy.
Fallout.
Fallout.
Fallout New
76.
Vegas. The game with the bee grenade.
The big grenade.
Don't quote me on that.
It's the bee grenade from Fortnite.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege.
All right.
Bee grenade.
Okay. Two things. I'd like to first of all apologise for everyone not listening.
This is our longest podcast by
This
far.
is why we don't go on for this long.
The glizzy beanade.
I don't know why I don't have
the Glizzy
the
Beanade
Morbnade
should go on.
the
Should go on
I
The
want the
Alchemist.
glizzy beanade. Glizzy beanade for the medic.
Glizzy Beanade for Carl.
Alright. Radiation grenade. You want it? I want it.
Yeah, just the smaller fat boy. Give it to Scalp or
Why
Driller.
Scout? Why Driller?
Well, don't give it to Engineer. I guess it would work
give it to
for
Gunner?
But Gunner already has
Gunner's
Incendiary.
it's quite similar to Incendiary, isn't it?
Glizzy Fortnite.
But the Fallout is actually, it's not just a ring, it's actually a big sphere.
Sorry.
So did you just say Glizzy Fallout? I think it's sufficiently different, and it doesn't actually slow enemies down, so that's up to you.
I
It
think,
also lasts
I
a lot
think
longer
it
than
needs to
Incendiary
be
grenades.
called a mini nuke. By the way, it needs to be and
No, Tyler, that's
it's
what
from
Fatboy
the,
is.
from the Fallout universe, mini nuke from the Fallout universe. The one with the beanade in it. Don't tell
Because
me on that.
think about it, for Driller it's quite similar to Neurotoxin, but
I suppose, but
it's basically it's a step in the middle between both of them.
well, I'm
really.
thinking
so it doesn't really matter
would
who you
look
give it
and
to.
work and feel a lot like IFGs, wouldn't it? Like, kind of just make a sphere.
But a bigger, much bigger sphere.
Would it be
It
that
does
big?
damage. Well, I'm thinking it should be around the size of the Fatboy Fallout, which is 8
That
meters.
is absolutely fucking
Is
ridiculous.
that 8 meters radius or 8 meters diameter?
Radius.
He did say radius.
That's... Yeah, but the problem was I was a bit distracted by the glizzy grenade.
That's fair. Many people probably
What
are.
did one just land in your room? You just
We-
staring
no,
at it,
he'd be
waiting
dead.
for it to go off. Imagine a grenade just flies into a window and you just stare at it, but it never goes off, so you're just staring at it forever,
Well, I think I might
waiting for your
like,
doom.
Honestly,
Isn't that Wanda's backstory?
Yeah, I didn't even realise.
it is actually. Yeah. That dumbass just stared at it, and now look what happened.
All right, radiation.
And now
grenade to
we
Carl.
got the beanades.
Yeah.
God.
Stupid.
All right.
Let's talk about gold skipping on the Reddit. Let's talk about-
What does that mean?
So, the Reddit's been on fire recently with people going at each other about gold, whether or not it's worth mining, like
Right.
gatekeeping. It's crazy. It's madness. And I don't like it.
I think that sometimes I'll be asked, sometimes I will not, and that's the answer there, baby.
Is this one of those times where you can't be asked?
To elaborate, yes, but to finish this podcast, no, I can be asked to do that. That was smooth.
Alright, so, yeah, we should probably wrap this up. Because
You wanted to do our bets on what could be in the game, right?
Well, yeah, because sort of the point of this is to get all these ideas out there so that it's like bingo.
Yeah.
You know?
If we actually right, let's actually, you know what? Because I think obviously we could say which one we think it's going to be, but there are some clearly more safe bets out there, right? The sludge grenade, radiation grenade, stun grenades, that kind of stuff. It's more fair
Do
than
you think we should discount
Mjolnir.
them? Like, just... do
Uh,
you think we should not even include those then?
no,
all.
I think we need to guess how many of these grenades are going to be in the final product. Do we think?
Okay, so let's
like
take them then. So let's go for the obvious ones. I don't think both Flashbang and a Fear Bomb will be added, but I think one of them will be. Not both, and I think the Fear one's more likely.
Well, I think I don't know the fact that Sticky and fella.
Sticky's not good at inflicting fear.
Yeah.
Sticky can like turn around like one enemy.
I suppose. Like a dedicated grenade to that stat.
A
is kinda
dedicated
needed,
fear grenade is
but-
different. It's like Banshee module, but like taken to an extreme.
Yeah, I think fear's more like healing the stun, if only because clusters are better than dealing a stun. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Sludge grenade. How likely?
I really do think it's quite likely. I think it's, they are not above just making a status effect a grenade and calling it a day. And
Right. Okay, a generalized one. A new melee grenade.
I think that's possible.
I think it
vampire.
literally
Which one?
needed really. If they're adding that
But
many
which-
grenades, they should got to add another melee grenade because they've only got one.
I
Which
think
one though? Because I think the boomerang is weirdly likely.
I
And honestly, because of balloons, because of
suppose.
the
But, like,
boomerang monkey.
I
I'm not
think
kidding.
whatever it is, I think Scout is the most likely to get a vampire one, I think.
Right, throwing knives.
But
Tick.
not inherently the throwing knives. I do like throwing knives, and I honestly, of all of them, I hope they are what's in the game the most. They're probably
Well,
the
Scout would
most fun.
suit a boomerang too, I think. I don't know. I think they both work. The lightning grenade, any kind of electric grenade, I guess.
That also, yeah. So I don't know. I think we might. I mean, we've got a lot of ground covered here, and if they're going to go for the more boring ones, I'm thinking we might have like 5 of the grenades. Probably.
Okay, hold on. Radiation grenade. Do you think that's likely or not?
I think it's up there, but I don't know. I think it's probably one of the lower downs of the status effects ones.
All right. Okay, so I'm not going to say that. I've got 4 so far. I think I want to pick 5. So let's take an extreme one, which just any of them. Which one you think's most likely, or maybe the one you want the
Balloons.
most.
B grenade.
Balloons tower defense.
Anyway,
Grenade.
I'm going to go for the smart grenade.
I don't
I
know.
like it.
It doesn't often do you want to hold out a grenade instead of actually throwing it.
Yeah. Because you normally want to use them in sort of like clutch situations to do quick damage instead of.
Can you run through the grenades again? Just literally just say the names as we go, and then
Phase bomb, throwing knives, fastball, plasma bouncer, sludge grenade, bouncing Betty, lightning bolt, flashbang, fear bomb, scarab bomb, smart grenade, Mjolnir, shrapnel grenade, B-nade, firework, rollerblade, the reatomizer, homing drone, driller. Wait, so line drawer. They add driller. Radiation grenade and boomerang.
I think this might be more of a wish than a think. But of the wild ones, I think the line drawer and or wall creator and or prison grenade, whatever that form it comes in, but like a thing that creates something that
net.
physically prevents the glyphids from
A
moving.
net grenade.
Yeah, maybe a net grenade as well. Yeah, just something that prevents them from going past an area.
We haven't talked about the javelin
That's because
or the trident. Give him
yeah,
a trident.
I
Give him
mean
a trident. Give him a trident.
maybe for an engineer instead of the boomerang, or maybe instead of Mjolnir.
It'd be called the Riptide.
Yeah.
And
Point is,
you could teleport to it.
given enough time, we could probably come up with 20 more, and I imagine you guys could also come up with 20 more. There are a lot of options.
Let's do it right
here.
now.
Let's not. Let's wrap this up. This has been the longest Sparrow Vision we've done so far, and
Well, that's to make up for the lack of vision.
I suppose, yeah,
last week.
we did miss last week. If only because I didn't particularly feel like talking about this. So
Technically, well, we technically didn't miss it because technically we didn't break the
we
pledge.
never once said that this would be every week, technically. So,
But we
yeah.
did say it would be once every other week, and that we have kept to.
After the third one, but yeah,
That doesn't count though because we hadn't started.
yeah, but
You're making a lot of excuses.
yeah, it helps.
Yeah, that's because I'm a coward.
Yeah, but thank you
That's
for
fair enough.
watching, and know that if this video comes out at stupid o'clock at night, it's because it took my PC so long to export and render it.
You just post it in the morning.
Probably. But then
For
we
this
have the wrong
one,
date.
it's gonna.
But yeah.
For this one, Tyler's gonna zip bomb himself.
Yeah. And say a special thanks to our guest, the ice cream truck
Harry.
that went past my window.
Just say Harry. Did you just? I'm the special guest.
Yeah, in our podcast with me and Tom, that you seem
My
to be in a lot of
podcast.
the time, Harry.
You two are the guests.
Yeah.
Well, you're like the owner, and you just come in every now and then just to see how we're doing.
Yeah, horrifically, might I add. We have failed everything.
I think it went quite well, really.
No thanks to you.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? You started bringing up sex. How long is this?
It is an hour and 50 minutes.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get to. All right, we can stop now.
Alright, everyone say goodbye to the audience. Goodbye to the audience.
Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye.
Oh right, I missed it. I missed it.
Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye.
Please remember to like and subscribe, and remember that rock and stoning is the same as like and subscribe. So, like and subscribe.